What's going on, everybody? We're back with another Call of Duty Warzone patch notes video. Today we're trying a new thing again where we stream the patch notes to get them to you faster. Saves me from having to download, edit, all the rest of it, upload, thumbnail, blah blah blah. So let's get into them. There's been some significant updates to the weapons, so let's check them out. So, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, by the way. Today we've got some changes to gameplay. Armoured truck health resistance decreased, blah blah blah. Turret damage has been decreased by 40%, so these were pretty OP. A lot of people rolling around with these on Rebirth and absolutely beaming everyone, so good to see those being tweaked in action. What else we got? Bug fixes. So some issues preventing Xbox Silver accounts from accessing Warzone as it's free to play game. That's been fixed. Issues players using controller encountering issues while navigating away from the buy station. So this is the really super annoying up down business of the buy station, so that's been resolved. The amp pistol challenges have been corrected. Fixed an issue causing the cape element of the tier 100 skin to get in your way, get in your face, all the rest of it. So that's been fixed. Personally don't use that skin, so not too bothered, but I know a lot of people were, and that's quite annoying. It's also fixed some issues with no XP being gained on the KG, the Volk, the AS-44, the NZ-41 and the Gorenko anti-tank rifle. Not that anyone seems to really use that ridiculous anti-tank rifle. So we've also got some significant weapon adjustments. It looks like we've got some changes here. So Vanguard weapons have been struggling to perform on par with their peers since dropped into Warzone. This is mainly a bullet velocity thing. This update is laying the groundwork to resolve that. Engagement distances have not only increased since transition to Caldera, more skirmishes are taking place at minimum damage ranges, and as a result, the weapons have low maximum damage ranges or low minimum damage ranges and becoming largely inviable. Unfortunately, for Vanguard weapons, this was often the case. Below you'll see a myriad of changes, injecting some budding competition into the upper echelons of the Warzone weaponry. So we should see a pretty significant buff to Vanguard weapons here, but we'll check it out. Or it could actually be nerfs to other weapons that compete, so we'll also we'll make sure that makes sense. So the Black Ops Cold War AK has its maximum damage decreased from 36, so a lot of people were using this AK and it was pretty overpowered, so that's pretty good to see. Minimum damage is also decreased. The AS-44 initial recoil has been decreased, so one of the things that I've seen a lot of people say, and Jago did a video recently talking about the TTK of the AS-44, in practicality the recoil was pretty up there, it was pretty insane, so that's good to see. Maximum damage range increased to 39 meters, and also one of the barrels has been had its maximum damage range buffed for 20%, up from 15%. So the assault rifle Alpha VG, which I think is the STG, has had a few changes. Pretty much a buff, headshot multiplier upped, neck damage multiplier was decreased, maximum damage range, minimum damage also increased. So it's pretty good to see. Gorenko, so fire rates decreased by 6%. Sprint fire on the Krosnik barrel recoil booster as its fire rate multiplier decreased to 1.5 from 5%. So wow, that's a pretty significant nerf to that recoil booster on the assault rifle VG. So I think that is the STG. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, by the way. Assault Rifle Bravo had a buff. Assault Rifle Charlie had a little buff. Some of the barrels also had a buff. Cooper Carbine, max damage range increased. So that will definitely make the Cooper more viable than it already was. Max damage rounds now increased on the custom barrel. So the EM2 headshot multiplier decreased. Again, the EM2 was slapping pretty hard prior to this update, so this has been balanced slightly from an AR perspective. It's had its maximum damage also decreased from 41 to 40. Minimum damage decreased. So the KG MP40 also has a slight buff, had its damage range increased. Damage range increased by 20% on the Krosnik barrel. The Nikita rifle, which I've seen a lot of good builds for recently, has had itself a little buff. We've got probably a damage per second buff because we've had a magazine increase from 35 to 40. So that's a nice way of balancing the weapon. So give you more shots and make it more forgiving rather than just upping the damage. Fast mags also had their capacity up. Pretty much every magazine's had its capacity up. So while the Nikita was performing moderately well, we felt that the magazine capacity and minimum damage was holding it back. So this will definitely be one to watch. So I'd be leveling up the Nikita rifle to check that out. A slight damage range buff on the NZ41. The Volk had a minimum damage increase. The XM4 had a headshot damage multiplier increase. So this got a slight nerf by 1 point one damage point in the last update for Season 3, but it looks like they are rectifying some of that slightly by giving you more reward if you hit your headshots. So minimum damage range, maximum damage actually decreased. Right, okay, so this makes it slightly more in the sort of short to medium range gun kind of thing rather than a sort of a full range beamer. Submachine guns, SMGs. So the Arma Guerrera has had a headshot damage multiplier increase, so that's a nice buff there. Minimum damage also had a little buff there. Next shot increase. So the Arma Guerrera was already slapping as a ground loot weapon, so that's definitely one to check out. A couple of the barrels have also had some buffs there. So yeah, Arma Guerrera, I'd definitely level that up and check that out. The M19, blah blah blah. Again, a slight buff. Owen, minimum damage increased. Wow, okay. So the minimum damage on the Owen was already pretty insane anyway, so that's going to be super OP now. I don't know what to think of that. I was already getting slapped up by Owen guns left, right and centre, so definitely be sure to check that one out. And the Vanguard PPSH, slight buff. Sten is also having a buff. Wow, okay. Everything is getting buffed. Type 100 also, some pretty beastie builds out there for the Type 100. The well gun, minimum damage increased. Wow, okay, so the bullet velocity penalty removed from the short barrel, and the Hawkinson now increases bullet velocity by 40%. Wow, so they buffed the Owen, they buffed the well gun, and I think, is this the MP40, Submachine Charlie? That's also had a slight buff. This is going to be a pretty interesting change, you know. So well gun, one to watch. Obviously the MP40 and definitely the Owen, and possibly even the Sten, you know. So and a change to attachments. So vital upper torso damage multiplier decreased. So that's going to have a bit of a nerf to the vital perk. We'll check out, see if there's anything in chat. Spoffo, yeah, RIP the Cold War AK. AS44 is definitely going to have a good chance. Cooper is for sure OP. And yeah, they buffed pretty much everything from Vanguard. So if you check at the beginning of the video, there's a little statement from Raven about why they're doing this buff. Bullet velocity is a big challenge for the Vanguard rifles. So hopefully this is going to resolve that in some way. Hopefully it's not too overpowered and we don't have too much stress and strain with that. You have to let me know in the comments what your results are.